So basically, this is the short version of my post. My third post on my blog. Really excited about it. It's going pretty good. So anyways, basic idea is that there's a distinction can be drawn, and really, I'm thinking it's only a distinction that's useful if it's useful. Like if it serves whatever end to be more compassionate or to, either way. But I'm drawing this distinction the idea of wakefulness and being awake. I guess someone asked the Buddha, "Are you enlightened?" He said, "I'm awake." And yeah, and there's this big thing in a lot of spiritual and a lot of esoteric disciplines, wakefulness, spiritual awakening, all this kind of thing. So the basic distinction that I'm drawing is to say that reality is a dream and I'm awake, and I'm awake in contrast to the dream of reality. So I consider my outside world to be a dream, and the more I consider my outside world to be a dream, the less real I consider my outer reality to be. In fact, the more real I will consider myself, my consciousness to be, that illuminates this whole experience. And so that's one kind of distinction I'm drawing on the one side of wakefulness or spiritual awakening, in which that tool is used to draw contrast from the consciousness being more substantial, totally substantial, in relation to and in contrast to the comings and goings and happenings and thoughts and forms of life and this outer experience. So that is one wakefulness. And I would say the other wakefulness is like, oh man, this reality is real. This reality is like some very serious, heavy, real things going on, and suffering. The ego, the guru will say that the ego and suffering are an illusion. In the one side, the first side of wakefulness, they will say all this suffering and ego and all this kind of thing is an illusion. And on the other side of it, I would say, on the other side of wakefulness, which is a more basic kind of intuitive, you might say down to earth or common sense or something like that kind of wakefulness, in which, oh man, I awaken to the reality of the suffering around me, and I can, the world, things going on in the world, things going on this planet, this universe, everything. And this is more like kind of like a social justice thing, awakening to suffering and the reality of suffering, and then we're taking this reality very seriously and very to be very real. And waking up in that sense is like, oh, like alert, like being alert, like, oh man, all this going on. Okay, so that's the basic distinction I'm drawing. Maybe in the longer video I'll get into some ways in which either one of these distinctions or poles of this, this kind of paradigm I'm describing, may get into how each pole is useful for different things or something. But I'll already tell you, 3 minutes, that's not too bad for a short video. Alright, catch you in the long video or the blog post. Thanks for watching. Awesome. Bye.